So today I want us to build an e-commerce platform using Django that you can use. You can clone the project and use it on your portfolio. Feel free to clone and copy the code and use it on your portfolio. So I'm using Windows. Let me activate my env, or let me activate my environment to say. So I'll need to leave this directory here, and I need to just activate this e-commerce, and then I go to scripts, then I go to activate, and then activate PSN1. My environment is called e-commerce, and then let me run my application. So if you're familiar with Django, you know this is how you're going to run the environment. So I need to go to e-commerce site. Sorry about that. Move up, then let's run. Let's click here. Let's see. So I seem to have already logged in here. So what I'll do is I can come to my incognito. So I show you that there are a few more pages. We have a sign up. So you can put the password, confirm password, email and username. We have a login. So your password and that, and then you can browse all the products. So instead of logging in here I've not logged in here. So let's browse the items. So you can see you can choose the various categories. So I borrowed some of the details I did here from Code with Stein, and so I was able to build at least something that you guys can use for your portfolio. So you can search, you can clear the filters, so it goes back to normal. You can message the owner of a product. So this will be the one that is in blue is yours, and then the other one is for whoever owns the product. So that is what I'm going to be teaching you how to build. This is a nice website that you can use, and also if you add payment to it, you're able to below this, instead of contact merchant, you can even ensure that you have a purchase, and this becomes a full-blown SaaS application. So I hope to see you on the other end as we build this step by step. So let's get right into creating our environment. So I'm going to be using VNV. I'm using Python 3 and I'm using Django 5.0, and I'm using Windows for my OS. So Python 3, I need the message, and then VENV, and then what are we going to call it? We're going to call it P portfolio or portfolio project. That is what I call it. So I created, so Python 3 means that I'm using Python 3. Then the message and tells Python to use its inbuilt tool called VNV to create the name of the environment that I'm calling P portfolio. I think I should cancel this. I made a mistake there. So let me create a directory here. I'll call it portfolio project. I think I made a mistake there. Let's cd into portfolio project. Then let's see, let's start, and then now let's create so message, and then VNV, and then we call it portfolio project. So this is our environment where we're going to install the various packages that we need for this project. And you can see from on top here, I'm using Python 3.11. So let's give this a minute to complete. So that is complete. So what do I need to do now? I need to activate my what are we calling it? My Python here. So what is the project called? Oh, sorry. Portfolio project, and then I go to scripts, then I'll need to find activate. So there goes my environment. So what do I need in this environment? I need to install Django. So let me install Django. I need the latest version, so let's install that. So as you can see, this is done. We have installed Django 5.02, and we have SQL path and all these other requirements. So I'd like us to create our first the project itself. So what do? You need Django admin, and then we need to start project, and then we have, what do we call this project? Let's call it e-commerce. E-commerce is not spelled like that, so e-commerce site. So that is what we will call the project. So let it get created, and that has been created. So let's move to that. And then of course we need to run this. So I'll not do the migrations right now. So Python manage.py run server, and let's see if our initial project has been created. So of course you will have these migration issues, but we will sort that out. So there is your initial project. So you have completed setting up Django. In the next step, we are going to start with authentication, that is login and sign up, and we're going to create that for you. And if you need this code, please go to, and the link is in the description, github, let's go Gitonga Breton. So this is my GitHub, and if you need any information from me, these are the repositories. Let me find that. So all the code that we'll work on is on this repository, so you can find it from here, and you can be able to pull and just check in case you face any issue. And if you want to reach directly to me, go to gitongabreton.com, put in your email, and then start learning now, and I'll be able to reach out to you directly. So now we are inside our main project. So as you can see, we created e-commerce site. We have the main e-commerce site files here. So PyCache, and then we have ini.py. This tells Python that this is a Python package. And then we have settings of Py, where we'll do our settings. We have URLs, we have WSGI, and then we have a simple database, DB SQLite. And then we have manage.py, which allows us to run the project. So what will we start with? We'll start with creating our authentication, that is a login and sign up. And in the repository that I gave you guys here, you'll have some base templates that I would like you to download. So we'll create a folder here called templates, and then under core templates, we create base.html. I don't want to go into repeating all the HTML that is here, but this is for the complete project, but I'll be able to show you how to edit it as we go. So here we are. Let's activate. We call it portfolio project. So I need to get out of this and then go to CD. No, not CD, but portfolio project, and then we have our scripts, and then we have activate. So there you go, and then we have to go back to e-commerce project. Clear. So what we need to do is run our application, Python manage.py run server. So as that starts up, so that should be okay. That's the same link that we have there. But then what do we need? We need to create a small micro app called core that will be able to host every other thing. So, or the basics of the project. So here, clear. So let's make the migrations here. So Python manage.py make migrations. No changes detected. So Python manage.py migrate. So we create the admin, so you can see the authentications, admin, last login, all that. We'll also create a super user. So I need us to create our first app. So Python manage.py, and then start app. What do you call this app? We call it core. So that gets created. So you can see core here and all its files. So it comes with the basic files there. So that's it. But I also need to create the super admin. So Python manage.py create super user. So username, let's call these Gitonga. Email address, let's call this Gitonga Breton at gmail.com, and then I give my password. So I'll just go with a simple password. Simple. Sorry. I can, because it, I can just say yes, since it's just a simple project. So let me run this Python manage.py run server. So you can see the errors have gone away, and then I'll need to refresh this and then go to /admin. So here this is a Django administration, Tonga, username. Let me see the password. Okay, so I'm in. You can see we have groups here and we have users here. For users, I should only have one user. So this is a good thing with Django. It will give you the administration here and you can be able to do a few things. So with that done, I first of all want us to go to settings.py and add the application. So on install apps, come here and add core, because it's a new app that we have created, core. I don't think we need to add anything else. So save. So that's now saved, and you can see we have the migrations here, creating the whatnot, but we'll not have a model in core. So let's just get going. Here I need a new folder called templates, because Django looks for templates under a folder, and then call it core. So here I need a new file, base.html. So base.html, as I said, please go to my my GitHub here and just copy this. I'm going to show you how you're going to make it work, because right now it's not going to work. So I have a few things here on it. Let me just show you. So my navbar is here. So I have nav links. I have them hidden on mobile devices. I'm using Tailwind. So this is a script for Tailwind. Then I have a block title. And then down here we have a toggle for the nav. Then links like this, because the URLs are not available, will not work. So all we have to do is comment them out like that. New item, now browse, and then here I check if I have this template retro to check if the user is authenticated. If you're authenticated, you have the messages tab. If you're not authenticated, you do not have them. This URL will also not work. And then the dashboard, for the dashboard, I need you to be a staff and authenticated for you to be able to access that. Then this is a sign up and sign in that we are creating. So let's just do that so that it works out for us. I do not want any errors on the start. This is a contact page. Don't need that. And then here we have the event listeners. So this is some jQuery for a model. I wanted a model on the items, so I created a model here. So hoping that should work for us. So we need to come here to views, and then we'll create a view, we'll create a form, and we'll also go to the URLs and add that. So actually, let's create a new file here. No, it should not be there. It should be where admin is. So urls.py. So on urls.py, of course, we will have our URLs there. So this is what I found to be the best from building Django applications. So from Django, of course, Django dot, I need the URLs, import path. That should be all right. And then from Django dot of course shortcuts should be shortcut or shortcut. No, I don't need a shortcut. There's something I need from authentication so that I can be able to use, because I'm using the default login and sign up page from Django. So it's from, I think, contrib dot authentication import. What do I need to import? Import views, so that I use the auth underscore view. Import views. Should be an alias. Sorry about that. I think that should be done, and then I'll need an update, an app name, I mean, and then call. I'll show you where this comes in, and then we have URL patterns. So this is also in the documentations, so just feel free to go along with or what you're doing. So let me leave that as there. Let me go to the main application here, urls.py. I need to include all the URLs from my core application. So of course, in the same here, I'll need include. That should be that, and then let's have path. Then we have that, and then let's see, should be include, and then core dot my URLs. That should be good. So that should include all URLs from this other side. Save. All right. Yeah. So before I now create the URLs here, I'll need to create the views, and also I'll also need a form, because I want to create forms.py, because I want a form for my login page. So feel free, if I'm going too fast, to go and look at this from my code on GitHub. So of course, from Django, import forms, should be forms, and then from also Django, contrib.auth forms. I import the user creation form, and I'll also need authentication form. So those are the two that I'll need from there, and then from Django, contrib.auth, from the models of the user. So contrib.auth.models, I'll import user. So let's go ahead now and create our two forms. So class, I'll need a login form. So I'll show you how we use this. So I'll need a login form, and I'll pass the authentication form there, and then we can have the various what we call them, the various fields that Django gives us. So my username will have, of course, it's a forms dot a character field. It's a character field, of course, and then we have the widget. For widget, we'll use a text input. Text input, and then what are the attributes that we want to change a bit? We need a placeholder. You can say please enter username. Username, of course, and then what class do you want? What class? And then this is because we have tailwind. So of course we have a windfall, and then we'll have the paddings on the top and bottom. Let's go, and then we need it to be rounded. Excel. don't really like typing this much. So what we're going to do is, because for login it's username and put that there, and password, let's just change this. So a password, of course, is a character field, but it's a password input. So password input, the attributes remain the same apart from this password. So that is our login form. Let's create our sign up form quickly. Sign up. I don't want that sign up form. Then what do we pass in? We pass the user creation form. So this is pre-built in Django. Of course, you'll need to very quickly change the meta. And then what model are we using? Of course, we are using the user model. So I pass that, and then what fields do we need on this? So we need, first of all, a username. We need email. We need password, of course, password 1 for the first password, and then we need password 2 for the second password. And then for the fields, we just have similar to this, so there's no need of writing all this here. So username is there, that will remain the same. What else do we need? We need our email here. We need email. Email, of course, should have an email input. Sorry, not email field, but email input. Don't be afraid of errors. These things, you experience them as you go. Of course, you need the password 1, and then the input, of course, is a password input. I should have actually copied this and just changed from this should be password 2. And I think with that now, our form is done. So once the form is done there, what do we need to do? We come now to views, and on views, that's where we create now the intersection between what the front end will be and what the back end will be. So let's go. We're going to create one view here because we only need the sign up. So of course, we create a function sign up. This is what we'll be calling on the other end. You need a request here. So you need a request there, and then of course, if you have any form, you have to realize that the request has to be checked. So we need to check the request method, because for example, if somebody just loads the sign up page, it will be a GET request. It should just be a form with nothing. So if you haven't done this check, what is likely to happen is you have not imported the sign up form. You will not be able to render that page. So I believe you know what I mean. So it's in the same page. So from forms, import sign up and import login form. So sign up form, the sign up form, and then all the data in the sign up form, request dot my post request. And then what else do I need to do? I need to check if this form is valid. So form dot is underscore valid. We need to check its validity because we do not want to pass data that is not valid. If the form is valid, save it. If the form is valid, save it, and then we can redirect to /login. So this we will not have for now, so there'll be an error, and here we need to import redirect. So that should be okay. But now we need an else statement. If it's a GET request, what do? The form that we have up there is equals to sign up form, an empty sign up form. And then what do we do at the end of it? We need what do we need to do? We need to return, sorry. And then we need our request, not that. And then what page are we rendering? So under core dot, then sign up dot html. And then we have our context. So form, of course, so form, and then we have the form. And that is the sign up. So once we have the sign up there, we need to come to URLs. Now let's pass our path there. So I hope you're getting what we are doing. I'm going very fast because I want us to build the final thing. So sign up written like that. Sign up, of course. And then what is the name of my view? Views. I did not import my views. So from dot import views is because they are in the same place. So views. So this is the reason we have an alias for these views from the authentication on the side of Django, because of this clash with the views. So views dot sign up, and then what name do I give it so that we can use it for the reverse URL on, instead of cramming the, what do we call it, instead of cramming or knowing the path. So we have this sign up name to refer to. So that should be that. And then we also need the login, of course. And then for this, we'll use what we imported, the auth views. And then the auth views dot, of course, we have the login view dot as, let's call view. And then, of course, what is the template name? What template will we be using? So these templates, I'm not going to, I had already prepared them, so I'll not be giving you, what do you call it, I'll not be going through it step by step, because obviously it's time that we are spending. So what else do you need to pass? I think we need the authentication form. Authentication. We need the authentication form, and it's called, of course, the login and the login form. And something is missing from here. So from dot forms import login. Yeah, that was missing. So let me minimize that. So that's what we have for the two URLs there. So we have the sign up URL and we have the login URL, but something is still missing. We have the forms, we have the views, we have the URLs, we have the base HTML, but where is these sign up, and where is these you can see where is this login and where is this sign up.html. So do for the same thing as we did here, just come and grab it. I'm going to explain what we did there. So as you know, we have template treat roles in Python. That's what we're using here. Come here to base, and then base will be extended by these others. So this is this sign up or login, login.html. Delete that. Login.html. Okay, it seems like I didn't copy. I'll copy that. So if you look at it here, we are extending the base.html. So the base.html has navs, it has the header, it has the footer. So we don't need to be recreating that. Then we have our login here. We have the CSRF for security, and then we have the password and the username. Then in case of any errors, we are going to see it from there. So I need one more thing. I need a sign up. I need the sign up, copy. So here you go. This is a sign up .html. So this is the sign up. Is the same. We have our content here. As if you look at our base template here, this is the block that we're incorporating our various data on the various places. So the title, and then extends the core block, and then we have all that and all the errors down there. So this should be pretty straightforward and easy to understand. So as you can see, I've added that on the main application. We have our URLs there. We have our views. We have our URLs, and we have our form, and we have our templates. So what we need to do is, let's check if this thing is working. So I think it should be okay. Let me come here. Let's leave. Let's refresh. We created the login and the sign up. So let's go to login and see. So you can see the login is here. I created myself as a user, and then you can see the navs there. They are at the top there. Created myself as a user at the beginning, a super user. So that and that. Yeah, and then because we don't have this part we're going to change, we are going to also remove these debug.true. But since you're in development, there's no issue. So sign up, you can also see that. And I'll need to reset this so it picks the tailwind. Python manage.py run server. So let's see. This should look. Yeah, now everything should be good now. So there is your sign up and also your login page. Don't worry, we will keep refining them as we go so that we have the final product. So let's get back and create now the item page. So let me just close all these. This is what we have worked on. So let me activate this. It's called portfolio. Sorry, I need to leave here. Portfolio, then my scripts, and then activate that one. So see the e-commerce site. So what do we need? Of course, we need a new app. So Python manage.py. We need a startup. It's called item. So this will be item page, the categories, and all this. So we have the core there, we have the item here, and we have the models and whatnot. So there's something we forgot to do at the settings page. I need us to add a few things here at the bottom or anywhere else that you want to add. There's a static URL. This is for, what do you call it? For the static images, because it's an e-commerce site. I already have this. I don't know why I wanted to add it. It's a media URL. I mean, media underscore URL. Media URL, media root. And then, of course, we have the base URL. This is already provided for us, or the base directly. And then, of course, media. And we also missed to add in the login URL and the redirect URL for login. I don't know if someone knows how we can add that. Anyway, just kidding. We'll need to add the app here. We just created item, and then let's do the login. So we have the login underscore URL. Login underscore URL should be /login and then we have login underscore redirect underscore URL should be. Then we have logout underscore redirect URL. So that's all I wanted us to add there. I've forgotten to do that. So let's come to item. So what will you need on the views? We'll need to create the views. You'll need to create the URLs, .py, and we'll need to create there's just a lot we need to go through here. So we'll need a detail page where we have the item, and you can look at the item and also find out you can also delete the item if you own it, and also you can edit the item if you own it. But before we create views, of course, we will need a model, and the model, this is a database. So these are the database. What two things are dependent on the item? So we have a category for items, as I was showing, men's clothing, children's clothing, and all this, and then the items that fall under these categories. So I need to create a model for that. So very quickly, I first of all need the user, because I'll need to create a foreign key on some of these tables. So auth, then of course models, and then I import user, of course. So let's create our first model. It'll be called category. For the model inherits models dot model, and then what do we need to do? We need to give this. What does the category model have? These are the columns. Now the name, it will have the name only, and then models dot is a character field. It's a character field. And we have max underscore length of let's say 255. What else do we need to change in this? I need to change the ordering, how everything is ordered, and I'll use what? I'll use the name. I'll use the name for this, and then verbose for this is what I want to appear when I register this model for in my admin. I'm going to show you that, and we're also going to do one without it so that you're able to understand what I mean. So categories, this is the name that will appear once we register this model, and then of course the string representation is crucial. So we can just do, sorry, you can have so this is just a bare metal that goes into creating the model. And we have a self, and we have a dot name. Nice. Let's create the item models dot model there, and then we have the columns. Of course, you'll have a category which should be a foreign key. So foreign key, and then from what table is it coming from? It's coming from the category table, and then what's the name that we want to appear on the table? So items. And then what happens once we delete a category? We also delete everything. If you delete a category, you delete all the items on that category. So I hope that's clear there. And then the other now, what do you call them? The other fields. Models dot character field. Then what max length do you want? And then we have a description for the item. description, I would like to use text field. Sorry, text. I like to use text field. It can be blank. Why? Because sometimes the person putting the item might not want to give a description, so it can be null and it can be blank. Of course, you need a price, so the price should be a float field. And what else do we need? We need an image. What else? Dot image field. And then where are we going to upload these images? Upload I upload to underscore upload to. So this will be at items underscore images. So it will have a media folder, and the media folder will get created for us by Django, and then on creation we will have that other one. So should we also have models dot cascade for this? All right, so that's the image. So is it sold? So we need to know if it's sold. If it's sold, it should not appear. So models dot is a boolean, man. So is it true or false? The default is false. The default is false. And then we need, when was it created, who created it? This is why we imported the user. So models dot foreign key user related name. We have items, and then on delete, if you delete the user, what does that mean? You delete the user, you delete the items. When was it created? Created at, and then models dot is a date time field. It should be date time, brother. Date time field. And then we can have the auto now add method, so it gets added to that particular time. So that's that. I'll need to change a few things. I need the ordering. What do I order with? Also, I think I should order with name here. Then from ordering, I need the string definition myself, and then return self dot name. So that should be good for us. So if you check items, I didn't give it what I gave for this, the categories, because it will just be items. So after creating this, I think we should be able to register it, because once we register it, now it becomes accessible. Let me remove this, or let me just show you before I register what I mean by registering. So let's make the migration Python make migrations. So I have an error here. Yeah, I think I know what the issue is. It seems like this is a silly mistake. Instead of passing blank and null, I passed on delete as if it is a foreign key. Guys, sorry for that. I don't know where my head was with that, but it's right. Let's go ahead. Let's see. So make migrations. Yeah, because we're using images, we need to install Pillow. Pillow has been installed. So Pillow is installed. So let's redo the migration. This should work now. Yeah, it must be a tuple. Sorry. Where's my meta? Some of these errors, man. Simple errors. But this is why we code. Okay, let's see now. Debugging is part of the job. Yeah, so we create the model category and the item. Then let's manage.py migrate, and that should be done. So let's run this. Python manage.py run server. So I show you the reason we need to register the model. Sorry, we're still going there. I need to go to admin. I'll sort that out in this class. And then simple Gitonga. So you see it's not appearing here, and we want it to be appearing so that we can be able to change a bit of things. So come to admin, and we need, what do we need to do to it? We need to register it. So how do you register? First of all, we need to import the models. So from models import category and also import item. So how do you register? Is admin.site.register, and then what are we registering? Category and admin dot site dot register item. Sorry, item. So let's see if I refresh this. I should, yeah, you can see categories here. So you can add a category, and we have items, and we can actually add an item. So you can see we have the categories there, description, price, and all that. So let me just add a few categories. Men's clothing, 7, add another. Women's clothes, 7, add another. And then children, 7, add another. So we should have 3 items here. So as you can see here, if you look at what is it called, the category, something seems to be amiss there, because what I'm expecting is for us to have the name there, but I can't seem to understand why it's not there. I think I know why it's not there. So look at the indentation here. It should be outside. Sorry, let's see if it reflects immediately, or yeah, exactly. So you can see children's clothing, men's clothing, and women's clothing. It would be a bit abyss to have them as the tuples and whatnot. So admin has been done, models has been done. So what do we need? We need urls dot py, and we also need to import these onto the urls of the main app. So first of all, come here and the urls. This you just need to copy and then have, what do you call this? We called it, just a moment. So we call these items. So I think every URL there will have items, and then items, not core, of course, because it's not core. What are we calling it? Item. So, and that should be a that, because we're using images. I think let's do this. There's a small trick here we usually use on when it's out on production. This is why I created the URLs that I created. Settings dot call it what? Media URL, media underscore URL, and I call this document. The document root is settings dot media root. So of course I'll need to import the static because it's so important, and I also need to import settings. Sorry for doing it the other way around. So of course it's django.unf dot should be urls dot static import static, and then we'll also need from django dot .conf should be conf import settings, and that should be good for the images. So in my URLs, what am I going to do in these URLs? I'll need just as we did the one for core here. You can just find it. Just as we did this, we can have this here. So path, I don't need this, and this is item. These are not my paths. So of course we'll start with an empty one. We'll start with the new item because we are creating a new item. The view, I'll call it new, then the name, I'll call it new. So let's start with creating a new item, a new line item. I think everything should be all right with that. We have the path, we have my views. I don't need this. Sorry, don't need that. That's done. So, and here is where we have the bulk of the work that we need to complete. So feel free to go to the repository, as I showed it to you. It's here. So under Gitonga Breton, the link is in the description, and you can just get all the code that you need. So what do we start with? Creating a new item. I think that should be the first thing that we do. And for the new item, of course, for somebody to create a new item, because we are tying in, the user, we need a decorator called login required. And how do you get the decorator? Of course, from Django decorators. So from django.contrib.auth.decorators import login underscore required. So let's go. Need login required. Then we need we call it new, and we should be good to go. I hope everyone is understanding what I'm doing, and they can get these and use it for their portfolio. So I want to check if this user is a staff, because only people who are staff or admins can be able to add items. So that is what I'm going to do. If request.user dot is underscore staff. So this is if the user is a staff. I had created a toast in the base.url, so that is what is going to show this. So we have the request go in, and then we have you are not authorized to see this page, not to access this page. So I'll need to import messages, of course, and messages comes from it should be from contrib. I was trying to remember that. Django dot contrib import messages. All right, that's good. That's cooking. That's cooking. So after, if we find that you're not authenticated, what should we do with you? We should redirect you to the home page. So I go back there. but we need redirect there. So redirect needs to be imported. Then let's say now you have what? You have method. This should be post. So when we have a post request, that is, if somebody is not authorized, don't show them the page. If somebody is authorized, let's have either when we are sending the data. This is when you're sending the data. The else statement will be when you're not sending any data. It's a GET request when you've just landed on the page. So what do we need? We need a form. And this takes me back. I need to go and create a forms. Forms.py. So this is much similar to the form that we built for the core. So instead of spending too much time there building, let's just take it up. I hope you all watch that. So here we have the new item form. So model, and then we have the fields, category name, description, and then I had created a input class. This is the CSS. And then I put that there, and then this is the edit form when we are editing the details. So I did not want to spend time rewriting that. So now from dot forms import new item form, and that is what I'm going to use. The new item form is what we are going to use. And then what are we getting? Of course, remember we have files for this. So of course all the data in the post request and also all the files. Request.files. It should be files. So if we need to check if the form is valid, form.is_valid. If the form is valid, what do we do with it? Item, and then we did a false dot save. No, I think something is wrong here. We will have to first because we check if the category is there and then create. Yeah, I think it's all right. Commit false. Yeah. And then what else do you need? Item to created by, because we don't have, if we just save directly, we would not have this, the created by, which would cause an issue for us. So item dot created by is equals to the request dot our logged in user, and then now we can save the data. So that is why we needed to do this. So because this data is not present yet, so after we have created the item, we need to redirect. What are we redirecting to? So it's item and then the detail of the item. So we will be creating this, and then we need its primary key, item dot id, because the detail item we are going for the detail of a particular item. So that item has a primary key. So if we are not committing data, so new item form, that's what we want. And then let's render this, turn render request. And then it's a form. I already created these forms, so you can just pick them up. And then what do you want to pass into that form? So we need that form there, and we need, what did I call it? Form. What else do we need? We need a title for the form. This form is called new item. And then button. item. All right, so that's done. I don't think there's anything else remaining here. We'll need this form.html, so come here to items, new folder, templates, and then new folder, item, new file, form.html. So you don't have to write all this. Let's find form.html. So as you can already see, most of my forms are inheriting the base.html. Then we have a title there. We'll pass the title, which is the reason why we have the title there. And then we have the token, the form, and the errors down there. So that should be good for create. That should be good. So I'll need to create these detailed parts so that we are able to just be able to redirect to that page once we create it, and then I'll do the edit and delete, which should be quick fast. So let's go to the detail. So detail, we have a request here, and also if you remember here when we passed the URL there, then we have a primary key, so we're going to have a pk here. Yeah, that should be okay now. So item, of course, how do we get the item? So we get the object of 404. So we need to, first of all, we need to import that, and that comes from Django.shortcuts. So from, of course, Django.shortcuts, shortcuts import, get object of 404, and instead of doing this, should have just done it. Get object of 404. Yeah, sorry about that. Get object of 404, and then what will we pass into that? We pass, of course, the item. Let me see if I imported the item. So from models, we need to import the items. From models, import item and import category. From so we need item, and we also need, what else do we need? The primary key. So the primary key will be equals to the pk that we get. So, and then we need the related items, which is, I would want a list of, if you click on an item, you see at the bottom of it, you'll be able to see the related items. For example, if I selected women's clothing, I need at least 3 women's clothing at the bottom of it. So you'll see it in action and you'll be able to understand better. So item.objects, of course, item.objects.filter, because I need to remove that. Then we have category. I don't think this is the model. There should be this. Category is equals item dot category, the normal category. And then if it's sold, so we're filtering. If it's sold, has to be false, because we don't want already sold items. Exclude if it's sold, then pk equals primary key, and then how many do we want? From index 0 to 3. That is the number that we want there. So now this goes to the detail page, and we need to pass this into the detail page. Render request item slash detail dot html, sorry, html here, and then let's pass the item, let's pass the item there. And we also need to pass the related items, here we have related items, so that should be that. We need this detail.html, detail.html. Here detail.html, and also remember we need to create the two parts. So what does this do? So it will get, of course, inherit the core dot or the base.html. Then we have the what we call the title there. And then this is the image, this is the price, this is a merchant. So it by whoever created it, and the description. If you're not the one who created it, you can't delete it. But if you're the one who created it, you can delete it. So you're going to see all that. So anyone who is not the owner will only see talk to merchant and will not see the other part. So let me remove this for now, since we'll not be using it. Even the edit here, because we can't edit right now. Even the delete, I don't have this is a delete. Yeah, that is a delete there. Also remove delete because I don't have the endpoints right now. All right, so I think with the detail and the new item, we should be able to see what we have created. Let's see. So of course I need what do I need? I need to create, of course I need an integer, which is the primary key, and then from the primary key, that's where I get, so it will be items slash the primary key. So 5, so views dot detail, and then of course the name is detail as usual, detail. I think that should be that, because we have the new and we have the detail. Am I missing anything? Did I import this to the main application? URLs, so items is there. So let's see. I think, am I still running the application? Something is missing. Degree, it should be lowercase. I think that's the issue, and that's the field I was importing here on the view. I think that was the issue, this. But let's see. Yeah, that was the issue. So let's come here, and we still don't have that, sorry. So items slash new, view items to view the new does not return, it returned null. So I was facing an issue here. The indentation was wrong. It was here instead of where it is right now. So let's just try again. Items slash new items. So you can see now from here we can be able to add an item. Let's add another children's clothing, child 2, child 2, price. Let's have 5 there, and then let's select an image. I'm not sure which ones are. I believe here, and this is the detail page. So as I said, if you're the owner, you have the edit and delete button, but if you're not the owner, you don't have the edit or delete button. This doesn't lead here, so let's go to the base. Where is it in core? Here. Let's find new item. Here we need to change this to the URL item dot is called new. I think that should be okay. Let's see. Reload. Yeah, that should be okay. So now we have the new page. New page we can add, and we can go to the detail. That's good enough. So let's move on to the delete. Enable the delete and the edit button. So we'll need the view and we'll need the URLs. So no, we don't need this model here. Which one do we start with? We can start with which one comes first? I think we took the edit because it's a bit longer. Of course, for you to edit, you need to be logged in, so we know who modified it. Then edit, we call it edit. We pass in the request, and of course, we'll need the primary key. Request and the primary key, and then just as we had on the other one, so we first have to find the item. So this first two, this one is needed here, but I need the item outside. I thought I had done that somewhere. No, I did not do it. Yeah, so I'll just write that. Thought I had written it somewhere. So the item get object of 44, and then from what model, it's the item model. The primary key is the primary key that it comes with, and then who created it, not credits but created underscore by sorry by user, no, not user, but the logged in user. So request dot user. So that's done there. What we need now is if there is a post request, and this should be similar to this here. I can actually copy the whole of it. I can actually pick that up. Sorry, that should be there. So if it's a post method, first of all, we will not need this commit here, and we will need a new form. This is not there, but the edit form. Let me just show you that. So the edit form, we allow editing of category, name, description, price, and image. So you can edit whichever you want to edit. So this should be edit item form, edit item form. So I hope up there I'm okay. And then item, the form, then form, of course, this is the edit item. I'm just first of all editing the most basic stuff, edit. But then if you look at our post, we will need to change something. Of course, we have an instance of an item. Of course, it's a post. In case you have a file, you'll have to change that, and then the instance is an item. And then of course we check if the form is valid, because we already have the user. We don't need to do that. We just need to save it and then redirect to detail once again. So should we test this and make sure it's doing good? Yeah, sorry, I haven't changed the link. So there's a form detail page. Where is my edit? You're allowed to edit here. So URL item, I'll call it edit, of course, but I'll need the item.id, which is the pk. You should also do the same for delete. So I can just pick this, and then this will be delete. So let's see if this works. We come to URL. Of course, if you don't put the URL, it will not work, because it will go try and find the URL, and it's like, this guy doesn't seem to exist. And the URL is quite similar to this, we can just add it. So of course, we need the pk, and then we need delete, and we have this, we call it delete, and this we call delete for the reference. So edit, this we called edit, and this we called edit. That's quite some work, man. Let's see. So let's refresh. Seems like something went down. Let's see. Views dot, sorry, I haven't created delete, so let me, for now, at least for now, create a men's clothing, men one. Don't worry about my descriptions. Price 83,000. Let's go for Janko. I don't know, I had some few images. So delete is not a valid view pattern. Let me just do the delete, man. Set off, that is in my page also, is causing that issue, because I already put it here and it's not a valid view pattern. Let me just quickly create the delete. It shouldn't take me long. So for you to delete, you need the decorator, of course. Let's create the function delete. Should be request, and then pk is equals to pk, or the primary key is equals to primary key. What did I do here? This is the primary key. What's the primary key? So first of all, let's find this item. So we ensure we're deleting something that is there. And then what's my model? Then we have pk is equals to pk, and then created. Who has created by? Created by. So if you're not the owner, you will have no business deleting this. Then just simply take item dot delete, and then return redirect. Why should I redirect this? After you've deleted it, you should go back to the dashboard, but I don't have the dashboard yet, so I'll just redirect to the home page for now, at least. And let's uncomment this. Let's see. Yeah, that should work now. So we can edit, should come back. Something seems to be amiss there. Let's see again. Yeah, the details are not showing. So I just discovered what was the issue. So if you check the form here, I had not instantiated the item there. So this is once you send the updated details, and this is with the new details. Because remember, with the old details, remember I had copied the create one, and the create one doesn't have anything on the form. So let's come back here. Yeah, and this should have at least some data, and one is amazing. So edit, they should work. Yeah, and one is amazing. So it goes back to, no, not there. So I bring it back to item, and then detail. So yeah, we should be good with that. So we have the create new item, we have the delete, and we have the edit. So finally now let's create the home page and also create the browse or where you can search and all that. So first of all, we'll come to item, and then under the template, there's one template that I've already created called browse.html. Take that from my repository, item, item, browse. So here, as you can see, we have a few things. The first thing we have is the inheritance of the base.html, and then we have this is the URL for browse. So search, we have the search term there. So once you click search, you get that. Then we have the categories. The categories will be shown on the left hand side, and then we have to clear of the filters, and then we have the items. So once we have that, I think I'll come to the views, and what is this thing? I'll come to the urls.py, and all I need to do is create the view and then also create the URL. So for the view, of course, you can't create the URL without the view here. So let me just do this very quickly. So browse. So this is a request. What else do we need? We need a query because we are searching. So request dot get, no, request dot get. What are we looking for? A query. Query, if there's no query, it's an empty string. And then we need the category ID because there are times when we will be searching with only, oh sorry, there's no try, no. Category ID, let's request. So request to get what is my category. So what category is this item in? And then of course we'll say index 0. Then where are my categories? Category dot object, and then dot, because we want all categories. And then we also need the items. Items is from item dot object dot, we need to filter and ensure is sold is false. Sold is false because we don't want to show people things that have been sold. So if category ID, because of course if it's a category ID, we need to map to that category ID and return the items that are in that category. So we'll have items dot filter, and then what do we filter by? The category ID that we got. Category ID, that's that. And then if we have a query or we have something on this string, we have items, then items dot filter. The filter, remember we have more than, we have the name, we can filter with description and all that. So we need to have this. So this is something special that I learned. So name, then I contains, what does it contain? I contains, and then the query. And then this will be good if or, this is or, the pipe is or, and then description, description, description I contains. I'll import the queue, don't worry. You can also go read a bit more about it. And we need to import the queue from django.models. From django.models import django.models import queue. No, I think I did the wrong thing. django.db.models. That should be good. Yeah, so that is when we have a query. But what do we return? So we return, we render. Of course, the request comes in. And the request will come in, and then we have, of course, the template is item/browse.html, and then what is needed on that other side. Sorry, here. What do we need on this other side? Of course, we need the items. The items. If you're wondering why all this is because look at it here. These are what we use here. For example, item, this is what we use here. So items has with pass category is what we are looping through. So they have to be passed here. So items. We go to query. And then we have query. No, sorry, query. Then we have no, not should be categories. Category underscore ID, and then of course it's an integer, so category ID. We go to my URL. I think with that, and then we add the URL, we should be good. At least now we'll have the homepage. Let me find URL to apply, and then this will be here, path, and then of course home, and then there's a views dot browse, then the name is equals to browse. So let's check in the base. Let's come to core. Let's make a check here. Sorry, base.html. I believe I should have had this here. So what is the URL? The URL is item browse, and that should be good. I don't think I would be missing anything if I did it like that. We are nearing closer and closer to the end. So if you are enjoying this, please make sure you like, you comment, you say what you enjoyed, and you also share with your friends, since this is free material. So let's see. Search there. It's still up. Items. Let's just a moment. Items. New. I want to come to here. Browse, and you can see here. This should work. And there's nothing like that. I clear the filter. It comes back. Child 1, child 2. We can edit, we can delete. So based on if you are the owner, you can add the new items, you can browse. I still haven't worked on this page, and let's just work on it. So I stop landing there every time. So let's go to my core just a bit. Where's my core? We can close this. Let's go to the core URLs here. This is where I want to add it so that we don't face those issues again. But I'll need to create a new view called index, but it's okay. Let's just first create this. So views dot index, name is equals to index. Okay, let me find my views here, and then after finding my views, I need to create now the view for the index so that we have that page. So definition, of course, index. We have a request. What else do you have? Sorry, let me bring this up. What else we need? We need two things: items. The items have. I haven't brought in the item model here from Django.models models import. The two. It's not Django.models. It's item.models import category and import item, because those are the two models that we have. So item. So the item, how do you get the items? We need the objects, and then we filter. We also need to ensure we don't get the sold ones. So is underscore sold should be equals to false. And then of course we need the categories. Category dot objects dot all. Return render request core / index.html. I'm going to be getting that. I have already crafted that. You don't need to write anything, but if you find that you're not understanding something, please reach out and ask. I'll be able to explain to you. So there we have the items. There you go. So that should be that. I need to come to templates here and create an index.html. So an index.html from core. Where is this? Right there. Index.html. Then let's just copy that. That's the index.html, and as you can see, it inherits base.html. Then we have our welcome block, the latest drip, we have the image and all that. So these are the ones that we created before. So you can go to the detail of the page. This is the URL and categories and category name. I don't think I'm missing anything. So right now this should work. And there you go. So the searching has been done. So finally, we'll look at communication. So for communication or for messages, let's see what we can be able to do so that our users can communicate with themselves. So now we are going to create your own admin page. So where you're going to be seeing your own items. So let me close that. So Python manage.py startup. Let's call this side admin, or let's just call it dashboard. So that should be that there. Let's start the application. This will not have any models, it will not have anything. We just want a view. We just need a view, and then let me just show you how we're going to create this. So this view need to be logged in. So what do we need? We need to import the Django decorator for login required. Contrib.auth.decorators. Decorators we import login required. So with login required is what we do. we create a view or dashboard view. This is our dashboard with a request. Sorry, the request there. And then what do we need here? We need items, but we need the items that belong to you only. So I'll need to import here from item dot model. Oh no, sorry, models import item. So item dot objects dot filter created underscore by is equals to request dot user, and then let's map this to our HTML page. Render. So we need the request. What is our HTML page? Dashboard slash dashboard dot HTML. And then what do we need? Items, and that should be good. Let's come to here, create new folder. Let's go templates, dashboard, and then just create dashboard.html. Dashboard.html. Here we go. Dashboard.html. Dashboard. So we have a dashboard here. That's for templates. It's the only one here. So this will show you what your items are, and if you can see, inherit core or extend core is a dashboard. Then the items are the items that we just passed, and you'll be able to iterate through then the category. So what remains is we need new file urls.py. We need to create the urls.py so that we are able to call this view. So from, of course, Django.urls import path from what do I need? I need, of course, the views, and then an app name so that we can be able to add this to main application. So dashboard, and I just remembered we haven't added it here. Dashboard. So URL patterns, and then we have my path. So home, and then views dot dashboard, and then what's the name? Name is the dashboard. So this will be the page that is viewed when you go to that. So let me go to base, my base.html, and find admin. So where admin is, that's where we put URL, and then we have called dashboard. Then what did I call it? Dashboard. That should be okay now. Let's see. Dashboard is not registered. What is missing? Oh, sorry. E-commerce here, URLs. I hope that is what I call it, dashboard here. Yeah, so here, just like we have this, we have and then dashboard dot URL. So I think with that, we should be able to now see everything that we want to see. Or sorry, not that, should be this. Let's see. I think I am not missing anything. It's always good to confirm and then see if everything is there. But this should give me what I'm looking for. So let's see, items here, and then browse should work. Admin, yeah, these are my items. These are items that I added, and the categories seems to be missing. Let's see, not there, here, not here, here. Items, I just passed items only, but I'm expecting categories. So I think that is the issue. Let me give this to you guys as an assignment. Since we can see I have passed category here, or categories, it means I need categories in it, in this view, and then pass it inside the items. Go and find out how you get the categories that were created by a particular user, or the categories that these items belong to, and that will be good. So the last section that remains is the communication or the messaging between the merchant and the various users. So now we are in the final section, which is the communication or the messaging. Let me stop this. What do we need to do? So let's create the Python app, manage.py, start up, and we call this communication. And there you go. Let's start this. For this one, we'll have models. So first of all, let me come to my settings.py, add another app so that they communication. Let's start with the models. And for the models, we'll have two models. We'll have a conversation, and also we'll have the message. So let me remove this. Let's go for class, of course, conversation, and then we have the model. So remember, we created such a thing sometime before. So item need the models dot, this should be a foreign key, of course, a foreign key. And then from where is it coming from? From item. So from item dot models, we need to import item. So it's coming from that model item, and then what is it, related name, what is it, underscore name is equals to conversations. And then on delete, in case you delete an item, it should also delete all it should delete all the conversations, I mean. So that's what we have there. So we have an item, we have members. So who are these guys who are conversing? Members. So models dot many, should be a many to many field, because you could have many people conversing. And then we have a user. We'll need to import the user. So from Django dot contrib dot auth dot models import user. So what related name do I want to use? I want to use conversations. And then what's the next thing that I need? Who created, what time was it created, and what time was it modified? We have something like this in in the items model, datetime field, of course. Then we have the auto now, so that it auto populates the current datetime. Sorry, true. And then modified at there, so we'll have models dot date should be a datetime field, brother. Datetime field auto underscore now is equals to true. Class meta. And then ordering, how do we need this to be ordered? We want from the latest message, of course. Modified underscore at class conversation message models dot model conversation is equals to models dot foreign key, and then conversation related name equals messages on underscore delete is equals to on. Once you delete, just cascade everything. And then what is the content of this conversation? So what is the content? This should be models dot text file, text field, and then who created art as usual. Let me just copy this, man. Not this, but this. And then of course we need, so created by, and this will be models dot foreign key. So the foreign key is a user, and then related underscore name is equals created messages. All right, then on underscore delete equals models dot cascade, and with the mod we have the models there. We'll need to register them. So from dot models import conversation and conversation message, and then admin the site dot register conversation admin dot site dot register conversation message. So there you go. So we have registered those. We need to come to our views and also create our method. So first of all, let me go to not the settings but the URLs and just create a communication one, because of course we will need to add it to the main application and we will be communicating through this. So for me, I want mine to be called path. No, not path, but inbox, because it's messaging, brothers. It's messaging. So it needs to be called inbox. And then, of course, what the name is called, communication dot URLs. I have not yet created the URLs page, so I will do that after I have done my views. So each time to create this, I just like to pick this code up and then explain it step by step. So to avoid making this too long, let's find this. So views. So these are my views here. So guys, feel free to pick up this code and use it. So there are three things that I have here. So this is the input for shortcuts. So that we get the get object and the redirect. This is my model, item, and conversation. And then from forms, we'll need a conversation form. So what do we do here? Because we're here, let's come to forms dot py. Forms dot py, and this one also I'll not be writing it because it's pretty much the same to what we have already done. So if you look at it, the forms there, the conversation message, this is the form that we'll be using. It has one field that's the content, and then this is its CSS. So all right, there, views. Let's say all right. So we are able to get that. So first of all, this is a new conversation. A new conversation is a request and the primary key. So item and all that, and then if the item was created by you and your request of the message, just go back to the dashboard. You don't need to converse with yourself, but so the conversations, with the conversations, we filter the members in them. We get the conversation. These are conversation details. You can be able to tell how a conversation is going, and then you can also send. So in case they are sending, if they're not sending, it's just a form. If they are sending, we'll need to add all this. And remember, we have the commit false because of the created user and the conversation. And then we have these. So we have come here, create a template. Create a template, and then what do you need else? We need communication, and then new.html. So this is the form for creating. Let me find it. That's dashboards, template, communication. There are a few of them, but for HTML, as I said, there's no need for us to spend hours here creating or repeating the same HTML. So new HTML, we need an inbox to show the messages here. So this is just the normal filter. You have to check what the members in, and then with the ID of the requester. So this one is called inbox.html. This is called inbox.html, and as I said, just come and pick it up. I spent a lot of time crafting them so that you don't have to spend that same amount of time writing this code. You can just use it detailed, but make sure you understand what you're doing. Do not just copy and paste. If you do not understand what you're doing, I will not have helped you. So inbox, and then for the details of the message, the detail, communication detail, and then we render the detail.html. So one thing remains, which is you need a urls.py page, and the urls.py page is where we map now these URLs that we had. So of course, for communication, you'll have, of course, a detail page, you'll have the inbox page, and you'll have a new conversation that you can start. So what do I need? From Django.urls, import my path, and then from from all import, what do I need to import? Views, because they're in the same directory. App name is equals to communication. This is what we referenced in the settings.py, and then what are my URL patterns? So first of all, use dot inbox as name, inbox. integer, and then pk, and then of course we will dot. I need don't I have a view called views? What is it? This view is called detail. This is the issue. The name is equals detail. Now one thing is missing. We have the path for a new message. I hope I didn't go too quick on this, but I believe it's self-explanatory, and of course we pass the primary key there. And what else we need? We need the views dot, what is it called? What did I call it? New conversation. Yeah, new conversation, and then name equals new conversation or new. So with that, I think I come to my core on my base, and then I look for, did I call it inbox messages, sorry. So here under messages is where we're going to now be able to put in the exact URL for the communication or the inbox. So for me, this one, I want to go to my inbox. So sorry, to my inbox. So the URL becomes, of course, communication, and then what is the view name? Inbox. And that should be good. I think we are done. Let's see. Let's refresh. Oh, sorry. We need to make the changes. Sorry. Clear. But did I add communication to my URLs here? Yeah, communication. Okay. Let's go. So Python manager.py make migrations, because we have two new models. So I've just realized what the issue is with this. So you remember in the models for the view, this communication core, while I was writing the code, I made an error here. This was category caps, then it became category lowercase. So was item.category renamed to item.category? Yes. So let's say yes, because I renamed it. Then we can create that, and then Python manage.py migrate. Let's migrate. That should be all right. CLS. And then let's run this thing. Done. So now we should be good with everything. Let's see. So the whole application should be done. If you come to messages, it should have an inbox there. A new item. What you're going to do, let's try create another user. He's not an admin. Let's add a user. User, call him test user. Password tests user. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, save. The password is too short. So I have created the user. So let's try and log in. What I'll have to do is I have to come to a new incognito window, log in. I didn't put on base.html the paths. Let's come here. Sorry guys. Let's come here, base.html. Let me find login. Yeah, we did not put it. So let's go ahead and just add that. Of course, we have what do we have here? Sorry. So we have the URL. It's underscore. It's not CRO but core. It's under core, and we have sign up. And then we have this other one. I was just wondering why the URL is not working, so that's why it's not working. Core, then login, and that should be it. I think I have saved that. Didn't I save this? I saved it. No. Login is not a valid. I think I know what I did. I did not. Guys, man, I did not do this. And that is what is causing me that issue. Now we should have something. All right. Yeah. So login. I created a test user. Password of 1234 hash 1234 B. Hope that works. So the test user is not an owner to majority of the products that I have. So let's see. So I'm in now. I don't have any messages, so let me contact the owner of this and ask. I did not change this, so we need also to change the contact merchant. So that we here is a merchant. So this should, of course, this should lead to what do you call it? It should lead to I'm forgetting the name, guys. Somebody remind me. Somebody remind me the name I'm looking for. So it should lead to what do you call it? It should lead to the new communication or the new inbox. What we have here. Let me just show it to you. Not there, but here. URLs here should lead here. So let's put that in. Of course, you need the URL, and of course, you'll have communication. New is a view name, and then you will need the ID. So item.id. Okay, let's see now. Let's come here. Sorry. Here. Let's refresh this. Let's contact the merchant. Let's say, hi, I need this. Send. So it comes back to this page. If I go to messages, I should be able to see that Gitonga sent, it was sent to Gitonga. So this is the admin. This should be the owner of that. So test user sent this at. So let's click on it. how much do you have. So you can see I sent that to Gitonga, sorry, and then Gitonga should be able to see conversation. I have 3,000. Nice. So guys, that is all for the project. I think I've shown you how to create a new item, how to browse, how to edit and delete your admin dashboard. Everything has been there, the detail page, and I left you with one assignment on the admin dashboard. Make sure you add these categories and also add a payment gateway to this, and you can be able to earn with these once you are able to deploy it. I'll be creating a video on how we can deploy this. Stay tuned in. Please subscribe and like, and you can go to gitongabreton.com to become part of my newsletter to get notifications directly to your email.